when we were preparing for school transition outside to the real world, he said, you're not going to have an aide when you go out into the world. So I'm going to prepare you. And by he said, even in my freshman year, he said, by junior year, you're not going to have an aide. And I was like shocked.
Welcome to Viral Steps to Wellness, the podcast where we talk about everyday solutions to everyday problems. I am Marcia Torres, and together with Heidi Honrado, we are excited to bring a special guest to you each month. Today we have Kaylin DeVault with us. Kaylin has worked for 6 years helping people and supporting causes at different nonprofits. Despite her disabilities, which has presented many challenges, Kaylin has used her experiences to fuel her passion for making a difference in the lives of others in the disabled community. As she continues to grow as an advocate and entrepreneur, Kaylin is eager to work with organizations to help them learn more about disability awareness and inclusion. Welcome, Heidi, and welcome, Kaylin.
Thank you, Marcia. It's always so much fun and such a pleasure bringing special guests, especially like Kaylin today. Kaylin, thank you for being here. Welcome. I'm so excited. Thank you for the honor of us being able to share with you and your story and your journey. And we're excited for others to know that as well. And I want to get started with the first question that I really want to know is what really, if you can share some of the personal experiences that you've had that ignited that passion of yours for advocating for the disabled community and ultimately leading you to your career path.
Sure. So how my passion started actually was in my early teens. It all started by one of my special education teachers who was a mentor during my school years. So how did this begin? Well, when I was a junior in high school, this mentor of mine noticed that when I was in class or in group projects, students wouldn't pair up with me. And I was often paired with another student only after the teacher would announce, well, someone work with Kaylin. So then I was paired with a student and I would almost get this response, wow, you're really smart. So then after that, I also, the same mentor and teacher, also knew that I would sit by myself for lunch almost every single day. I even tried to include myself when I went to the lunchroom with other students and I asked, can I sit down with you? And they would be like, yeah, of course. And I would be ignored the whole entire time while sitting there. So I got tired of it and I asked this teacher, can I sit up in your room and have lunch with you? So after those experiences were shared with my teacher, he said, okay, I'm tired of it. We need to change this. And I said, okay, what are we gonna do? He's like, I've already prepared a presentation. You and a couple of the other students and me are gonna do a presentation in front of the whole entire school. So you can imagine back then, I always had a bubbly personality, but not being included by my peers, I was much more of an introvert. So this was very scary to me, to say the least. So, but he reassured me, don't worry, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be supporting you and prompting you with questions. So I said, okay, I agreed to do it. So we went and did the presentation and he asked me some questions. And these questions were, what do you want the students to know? And can you talk about your disability for a little bit? So I did. And the main thing I expressed was, I don't have friends. On the weekends, I end up going to my bedroom, watching TV or reading a book or a textbook, which made me very smart, right? Intelligent. But I wanted more for my life. I wanted to go to sleepovers. I wanted to go to school dances because I was just tired of being alone, which also greatly impacted my mental health at the time because as I'm sure you're reflecting on that, it's lonely and nobody wants to feel like they're alone. So literally the next day, my peers came up to me and started saying hello and inviting me to things. And I even got invited to a school dance with a group of my peers.
Wow.
And it wasn't like they were doing it to feel sorry for me. It was genuine. It really was genuine. And I ended up building like all these friendships. I remember going on a farm with a friend who took me on a farm to see different animals. And we had a sleepover. I mean, it's impacted my life so much that I've never forgotten these memories. And then in my senior year of high school, I got asked to prom. And I remember thinking, oh, I'm gonna go alone. Like, I'm not gonna have anyone to go with. And this person that asked me to prom was also a football player. So you could imagine my face when I was like, and he did it in front of my teacher. So of course my teacher was like, he just had this big old smile and he's like, my Kaylin's going to prom, because we almost felt like a daughter and father relationship. So I had a great time at prom, and then so they go around and they start announcing it's time to announce the queen and the prom king. And so I'm sitting there and they're like, okay, the prince, blah, 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 princess is this. And I'm start clapping, oh, this is great. Then I hear my name and my jaw just dropped. I'm like, I thought it was over. And they're like, no, we have to announce the king and queen. That was the princess and something else. Oh my God, when I heard that, I was like, I cried. I couldn't even speak. I was speechless. And you know what? My whole entire graduating class voted for me. And I asked why. Like, why was I chosen? And they said, because Kaylin, you showed bravery to us. And you showed us the importance of standing up for yourself. So how could we not award you that? And I've never forgotten it. So really, that's where my journey began.
Wow.
That's an amazing journey. Kaylin.
Got me in tears.
Touch my heart. Wow, that's amazing. The bravery that you demonstrated on not giving up, on just being part of a group, part of a community, but also the amazing mentor you had by having your teacher, just kind of.
And he impacted me beyond what I could ever. I mean, in so many ways. Like, I would not be where I am today without him. He pushed me so hard, not even just on a social level, but like when we were preparing for school transition outside to the real world, he said, you're not going to have an aide when you go out into the world. So I'm going to prepare you. And by he said, even in my freshman year, he said, by junior year, you're not going to have an aide. And I was like shocked. But you know what? I didn't have an aide by junior year. I was going to class all on my own. And, so he played many, many different roles in my life. And I've taken it with me from 15 all the way up to 31 years old. It has impacted my life.
Wow. And one of the things that I hear also in your story, when you began to, yes, you were afraid to say, okay, I have to stand here and do this presentation. You have never done that before, although you are going, but it's like you were empowered. It's something that we get when we share our story, right? When we stand in who we are truly, and that empowers you, but it also empowered those who didn't know. Your classmates didn't know what's really going on, and once they really got to understand that and know you, they were able to see who you really are. And I know this really led you to the advocacy to say, this is who I am. And there's so much power in that. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you for sharing, Kaylin. And I wanted to dig in a little bit so people can understand in terms of your disability, what you go through every day, because it's not easy. And we are together. I have, talked to you. We have been in class together. But I would like for you to go over, not in depth, but just overall, what is your disability and what you have to face every day?
Okay, sure. So my disability is cerebral palsy. So in a nutshell, what that is you're typically born with it. And the main cause of that is brain damage, lack of oxygen to the brain. So it kills brain cells, which impact balance, walking. It can impact speech, learning, but it varies from individual, so in varying degrees. So a person could use like a walker, like me. I use a walker on a daily basis, but there are other individuals that are so severe that they can't talk. They have to rely on a wheelchair. So that has also always been my motivation. Even before into the speaking, that's why I never gave up. That's why when people ask me, how do you maintain a positive outlook? It's for them. Because if I don't maintain a positive outlook, I'm being somebody for when they can't. So when someone can't get out of bed, that's me for them. So if I don't maintain a positive outlook, it's like I always say, I'm someone's kid. I'm someone's daughter that might never hear, I love you.
Kaylin, thank you so much. You make me
I know.
And then in terms of challenges, well, again, and Marcia, you know this from, just our experiences, I don't really express it unless you know me, but just on a typical day. All right, so that we're in our entrepreneur class. So just to get to the entrepreneur class for the start of the day, I have to get up at 5 a.m. So I get up at 5 a.m. So that's so I can shower and get dressed. And then I have to be ready for the bus by 7 o'clock. And the bus comes between 7 and 7:30. And then, as you know, the entrepreneur class starts at 8:30. So that's just to give you a tidbit of what it takes just to come to an entrepreneur class.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for sharing, Kaylin. This is, for people that are going to be listening, I know they're going to be touched as much as Heidi and I have been touched of your journey. But what has touched me the most from you is your heart and your spark on so much light. Right? And I always say that to you. It's like
you do.
You shine. Like I can be 100 miles away if I can see the light from far away, and that's how powerful you are. And thank you for your words. Really, thank you. Hey, did you have anything else besides that, or we can go to the next question?
We can go on to the next one. Yes.
So we have another question for you, Kaylin. How do you convey the importance of disability awareness and inclusion to organizations, and what impact do you hope to make through your work?
So as I think you're aware a little bit, one of the things I've been doing for about 10 plus years is I've been doing presentations. I do my favorite one, or my first one that I developed was Living with Cerebral Palsy, Kaylin's Journey. And that's where I go over what cerebral palsy is and basically where I started into my life and where I am now. And as I'm sure you're aware, that story keeps evolving and it keeps changing as I do this presentation. So that's my favorite one. And I presented that one at my work, my full-time job right now. And I also did a presentation in March at my work on systemic barriers experienced by persons with disabilities. And I go over those specific barriers with evidence-based research, and then I apply it with a personal experience and how I overcame that barrier. I've spoken at my college, even in college classes. I gave every opportunity I could to educate my peers while I was in college.
That's a journey and that's a commitment that you have. And I love the fact that you said that, it evolves as you keep growing and you keep experiencing life.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure that that journey also resonates with a lot of people that perhaps are at the beginning of that journey.
Yeah.
And other people probably are at the same level where you are right now.
Right.
Yeah. I do want to ask you this, as Marcia, of course, Marcia and I, we have to include habits and behaviors, right? We have to talk about that.
Right.
So, what are some, and we all have to, as we deal through life, no matter what our circumstances, we got to have those habits and behaviors.
Right.
So what are some of those habits or behaviors that have helped you stay focused on your goals as you transition through your advocacy?
So I would say habits and behaviors that I've developed is one thing that I do on a daily basis, and Marcia knows this too, is I usually post an inspiring, motivating video on my social media platforms. I think that just helps start the day, but I also get to do it for other people as well. I mean, it starts the day with a positive mindset. Another thing that I started doing just for, 2024 was I was going to make a commitment to read more, and specifically to read books more towards personal development, self-development, and a great author, and I don't know if you're familiar with her, but she's wonderful, is Brené Brown. I've read 2 of her books. And then another thing is, and this isn't for everybody, but I believe in God, a higher power. And if I did not have my faith, I don't think I could maintain that level of positivity without that.
There's any book specifically that a name or a title that you can name so people can hear and they can probably read the same book that inspires you every day?
Sure. So I mentioned Brené Brown, and the first book I read of hers, and I thought it was the most impactful, was Atlas of the Heart, which I believe is one of her newer books. And basically what that goes through is it actually explains we experience over 400 plus emotions that I had no idea. And she goes through it and she gives you a clear definition, and then she applies it with an example, kind of like what I do in a lot of my presentations. And I will say this openly, and I'm sure you could relate maybe, is I wasn't taught coping skills. I had to learn those through therapy. And I realized it's okay to be upset. It's okay to deal with disappointment, but those weren't things I was taught. So in that book, it really detailed that. And I was like, wow, I'm glad I understand these now.
Giving yourself permission to be upset is so important, because that is the part that helps us to recognize who we are and how we can.
Right.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you. Those are powerful habits and behaviors to have. Thank you so much. Yeah.
And Kaylin, I know you are taking the entrepreneur class, and I want to know what is that you see in your future? Like what is that you want to take? Where do you want to take that?
Right. So as you know and reiterated, I am in the very beginning stages, and I'm happy to share that my business is officially established. Yay. And the name of my business is Palsy Powered Chick Innovations. And I think the title itself speaks for it, just based off the things I shared with you, why I started this journey. Where I want to take this is I want to be able to connect with organizations, businesses, HR professionals, and I want to be able to share my knowledge and the resources that I can provide. And another avenue that I just came across that I can be is I would also like to work with families whose children receive special education services to educate them on how to be independent, because it's more than just academics, it's preparing them for life. And I think a lot of the school systems don't focus on that.
Oh, that's amazing, Kaylin. I love that. And I think you have so much to give. And I think the world is ready for you.
I'm ready for it.
And where they can find you, Kaylin? Can you share with the public where they can find you, where they can follow you?
Sure. So I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn profile is Kaylin, and that's spelled Kaylin, and then in parentheses K. I go by K for short, Kay, and then devote, Devealt. And then I'm also on Instagram, and this is Palsy Power Fitness. So if you search that, you can find me, and I also share my fitness journey as well.
Awesome.
I love that fitness journey. Yes. You should definitely watch that, because she inspires me. When I feel like I don't want to do it, I watch Kaylin and I do it.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, I can. And you know what? You have motivated me. I'm sitting here and I'm like, I'm just motivated. So like, I have to just get my stuff together. Yes. So congratulations on getting your business established. And Kaylin, I just want to, as I was learning about you and looking at your page and all that, I saw this powerful quote that you have on there. And I think it's so important for people to hear this, to really feel what we feel and see what we see in you. So will you so kindly share that with us?
Absolutely. So my life quote and my brand code is, I am not resilient because of my disability. I'm resilient because it's all I've ever known. And I think that speaks for itself.
That's really so inspiring. And we want to say thank you so much for being with us today. You have given us much inspiration, and we are so happy to share this space with you. Do you have any last words?
Well, I would just like to say that I'm just so grateful that you've chosen me to be on your podcast, and I love the motivational speaking, so you gave me the opportunity to do that. And I guess for your listeners is that I hope you'll follow me, because it's really important for me to share these messages. And the only way I can do that is if I get more exposure. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Kaylin. Thank you. Heidi, any last words before we go?
Just keep going. I'm excited to see the next, and I hope everyone just make sure that you follow Kaylin. You will receive motivation daily, as you said, right? You send daily motivation to get started. So thank you again, and I look forward to seeing you next.
Thank you.
All right, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you for watching today's episode. We were very excited to have a great conversation with Kaylin. And if you feel that this video helped you to get inspired like we did, share, like, and subscribe, because we have another amazing guest coming next month. So thank you so much for your time. See you next month.